Hi, my name is Carma Parish. I'm the CEO of NorthPark Community Credit Union, and everybody else has their own show. And I thought I would do one too, where I could host and talk about all of the different not-for-profit partners that we work with, as well as our board members and people from our Indiana Credit Union League and the Credit Union National Association, just really exposing our members who are owners of the credit union to different aspects of what we do beyond just serving you, our members. So today with me on my first episode, I have Peter Erodis, who is with Gleaners Food Bank, which is part of Feeding America. So Peter, welcome.
Thank you.
So today what I'd like to talk to you about is the virtual food bank or the virtual food drive that we're going to do. So can you talk a little bit about the food drive and then also talk to us about what the need is that is so great and why we're going to be a part of that?
Absolutely. So first off, thank you so much, Karma, for wanting to do the food drive as well as your ongoing partnership with Gleaners. I truly appreciate it. With Gleaners, just real quick synopsis in case anyone is unfamiliar, we are the largest food bank in the state of Indiana, as well as the largest hunger relief charity in Indiana. And so we cover a large region of 21 counties, and we are part of Feeding America, which is the national association, or not association, but national organization of food banks, where they have over 200 food banks, and each food bank, like Gleaners, has a region that they're responsible for. And in that, every single county in the United States is covered by a Feeding America food bank. And we also are a FEMA disaster relief storage facility, and we operate for Feeding America the Fresh Connect co-op, which distributes food to other food banks across state lines, and we're one of 7 that does that. And additionally, we are also a regional by contract Kroger reclamation site for the Central Kroger division. And those have been some great partnerships, as well as other ways that we are able to fully leverage our partnerships, skills, and talents. Now that I've spoken a little bit on what Gleaners is, we talk about the need, and the need has risen quite alarmingly with COVID. And pre-COVID, we were looking at about 1/3 of 1 million Hoosiers that were food insecure, that are our responsibility, being in those 21 counties that we serve. And yes, Carmen.
Peter, I have a quick question. What does it mean to be food insecure? I think that's something that terminology is becoming a little bit more familiar with people, but can you tell us what it means?
That is a great question. And so what it means to be food insecure is it applies to individuals that might not know where the next meal will be coming from. And it's that uncertainty of when it's going to be or where it's going to be. Hunger is a little bit different. That's where, everyone is going to experience hunger at some point, but to have that barrier of, I don't know how I'm going to get food, that's food insecurity. And that's one that we are working across the country to eliminate, because it is well within our means to do so, because there is more than enough food. It is very much a supply chain issue, and just trying to leverage the right partnerships to, close that meal gap, as we call it. And the meal gap is.
I was just going to say, I think the thing that was crushing to me and the team of NorthPark when we came to visit, and we've been to your facility a number of times now, is the food insecurity of kids, and just to see, the snack pack, I think that's what it's called, that we do, and sending that home with kids on Fridays because they don't know over the weekend whose house they're going to be at, as they get shuffled around. And that was the part that really just crushed our team, and just said, as a team, we all said, no, we've got to be a part of this. So I think maybe too many times we're naive to what food insecurity really truly is. I mean, it's a lot of us just think, oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to go to McDonald's, but That's not the case for a lot of people. And to say a third of Americans, that's a lot.
Yeah, and so yeah, for it is a lot, and the faces of food insecurity, it's anyone. It could be our neighbors, and it could be other kids in our children's classrooms. You just do not know what's going on with someone's personal situation. It could be very temporary, but it's something that within our 21 counties, we are looking at, like I said, 1/3 of 1 million Hoosiers, and that translates roughly is 1 in 6 Hoosiers that face hunger, and of those 1 in 5 are children. And again, those are our pre-COVID numbers, and so we are right now just trying to keep up with demand with COVID. We have seen probably a 40% increase in our lines, and we have doubled our distribution over the last year. You know, we've had a 107% increase in our distribution of food. And so we
Wow.
last year, ending in September of our fiscal year, we had distributed, just a little over 87.5 million pounds of food throughout the state.
Well, it's incredible. And when we were talking offline, I think you said 40% of the people who are coming through the line to get food are first time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's that's pretty large percent. That is their first time through since COVID. That is right.
No, ever. That's their first time ever
Ever,
being any kind of
ever.
food relief line. And so we
Wow.
try to do pulse surveys with some clients as they come through every time. And that seems to be a consistent trend. Nationally, we've been seeing about the same numbers, about 44%, the same thing where it's people's first time.
Is it because of loss of job, loss of hours, loss of, I know, we've heard from our members struggling because they lost their second job.
It
Are you guys hearing similar?
it's varied. It can be anything from loss of job to um, the food itself being hard to get with the supply chain with in combination of low resources, and it can also be is just simply there's just not enough money being made.
Yeah.
You can have households with multiple jobs, some full time, and it's just not enough because there's those pay gaps, and you have other bills, medical bills, utility bills,
Yeah.
everything you need. Sometimes for, let's say, our seniors who are on a limited income, and they have to
Mhm.
sometimes pick and choose. And so we have then programs very specifically designed to meet the needs of our seniors.
We're seeing an increase again, talking to our members. It's interesting to hear how COVID is affecting in different ways. And one of them is that childcare expenses have really gone up because of, um, you know, not having school full time in the classroom, or childcare having to shut down because of, you know, situations with COVID. And so that has really pushed on the pockets of young parents.
Yeah, I can personally agree with that, and that I've seen that personally, where it's from organizations where they're having now to take into account safety procedures, and more sterilized cleaning, as well as really insurance costs just for running the business, and it piles up, and then they put that onto the consumer, and then for families that have you know limited resources, it's very constraining. And so
Mhm.
absolutely, yeah, there's you know a lot of those similar issues going around with our response in COVID that we have been seeing. And some of that too is with the supply chain that we've faced, where there's been periodic times when consumers are at the grocery stores and it is hard to get food. And I know early on for Gleaners, we had, and it wasn't just Gleaners, it was our entire network, where you know early on in the COVID pandemic, we were seeing it was extremely difficult to get food, because we normally rely on food donations, in bulk, from grocery stores and farmers, and that was not possible. And so we were then having to buy food in bulk at retail cost. And
Wow.
yeah, but even doing that, we were still finding ourselves on giant waiting lists, like 17th in line, just to buy food at retail cost. And because everything was having to kind of shift around and readjust.
Yeah. So the need is great. That's definitely being heard. And so usually our credit union, we really, I can't help it. I'm a farm girl. I'm all about milk and cows. And so we focus our donations on a monthly basis in the form of milk. Um, for our members that don't know, for every loan that we open, we donate 5 gallons of milk. And for every checking account that we open, we donate 2 gallons of milk. And so last year we gave over 66,000 gallon or servings, I'm sorry, of milk to Gleaners, which is really exciting. We were pretty proud of that and the members that helped make that possible. But along with that, we're getting ready to do this virtual food drive, which is really more about the emergency need that you guys are seeing, not just in milk, but just across the whole spectrum. So tell us about the virtual food drive and what your need is, what we can do.
Great. So our need right now is we have, since March, shifted everything to what we call family meal boxes, and that is across all of our platforms for distribution. We are doing that, and it's where the food is um, pre-boxed into various boxes. And most of them are about 15 pounds, and some 20, but it's roughly filled with various foods as well as everything's on the side, and everything is contactless for our distributions. And so that was kind of our answer instead of our normal client choice shopping experience throughout our mobiles as well as our on-site pantries. And you can come to Gleaners or one of our mobile distributions in one of our counties that we're in, and everything's drive-through. And everyone lines up in cars, stays in their cars, and we have volunteers that are now able to just put the boxes of food in clients' cars, and that so we have shifted everything to go towards that. And boxes are very, very expensive, and we put out a lot of boxes a week. And the food, sometimes we have to, a certain percentage of those family meal boxes is donated food, and a certain percentage is purchased food. So we're still purchasing food. And so that is kind of the highest need that we have right now is, maintaining that structure that we have for our relief. And
So this family box, you had told me about what it is, and it's meant to really supplement the pantry for the family, and it provides them enough food to last about 2 weeks, you had said. Is that right?
yeah, it acts as a supplemental. And so one box, roughly is for, one individual or one household member. And so when folks come to any of our pantry distributions, it will be, we'll ask them how many households they're there to receive, and that's how many boxes, as well as the extras outside of the box, like some of the bigger stuff, like bread and milk that we can put in. They get, and so that can last 2 weeks to a month. It's one of those that is indeed a supplemental, and we are hopeful that sometimes the clients, if they're in need of extra aid, we're there also to help with that, such as our SNAP benefits, which are the food stamps, and we help enroll clients in that and see if they're eligible. So that is definitely one of the major areas that we work on.
It just reminded me something you said that I want to interject too. I'm just going to put this out there, completely transparent. I remember meeting with you early on in our partnership and saying I struggled with personally with always just thinking, well, these people just they need to go get a job. I remember pulling up and actually seeing just this huge line of people waiting to get food. And as we were sitting there talking, I looked out and, I couldn't believe it. I saw, and I won't list the names, but I saw the trucks of television, cable companies, and other business vehicles out there, and you know, people standing there in their factory gear and had their name tag on it. And so I'm saying all of that because what was shocking to me, Peter, more than anything, and it really continues to hit me at the heart that I need to not be judgmental and be a part of the solution, is that you said 70% of the people that you serve actually are employed, but they can't make ends meet.
Um,
And
yeah, I
go
was just
ahead.
gonna say, yeah, that is, yeah, there was a pre-COVID figure that we had where it was like 70% were full-time employed, and just could not make enough because you have all those bills, and so that's one of those things of where we look at the food line and the folks in it, and it can really, any of us can find our way there. And
Yeah.
it was, I think, a couple of years ago when the government was shutting down in January. All of a sudden, all the federal workers were not receiving paychecks, and then we very quickly saw that about, I think it was 80% of Americans are 2 paychecks away from being food insecure. And so that was,
Yeah, and we got to do more about that.
hmm.
So, all right, so we're getting off topic, which is easy to do with me.
And me as well. So I
We like to say
apologize.
I like to go around the bin. Yeah, I like to run around the bin, the corn bin. So, back to the virtual food, and it's not what you're saying isn't important. It's something that we're working on ourselves, on helping people with payday loan and the savings aspect, and so there's just not enough hours in the day to solve the world's problems. But with the virtual food drive, we are excited because it really is going to the need of buying these family boxes. And so you've given us a goal, and I love goals because I really work to hit them. It's $10,000, and that's a lot for our members, but we think we can do it, little by little. And so we're going to do this over 3 months, February, March, April. And $10,000, we're going to reach out to our members. We're going to reach out to, our vendors and ask them for support. And our staff and our board are definitely all into supporting with this. So I definitely want to have you back on here, whatever this interview process is called, Peter, because I want to check in with you again and see how we're doing. But we'll go ahead and we'll be putting information out on our website so that people can donate. And I just really appreciate you coming on here. I really appreciate what you do on a daily basis and the difference that you're making in the lives of Hoosiers. It truly is impactful, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Carma. And it is an absolute privilege to serve the folks that we're serving. And it really is. And like you said, it is
Good.
needed, and your support and your members' support to have a direct impact on the lives of Hoosiers. A simple donation of $1 is enough to provide 5 meals.
Hmm.
So that is, we'll have a,
I can't hear you very well, but I think you said it's an opportunity to serve 5 meals.
yes, a single donation is, or a single donation of $1 is enough to provide 5 meals.
Wow.
So
A
that's
dollar donation gives 5 meals. That's amazing. Well, I think there's something wrong with our audio because I can't hear you. So I think that's our cue to probably wrap it up. I could talk to you all day about this, but I really, really appreciate it. So thank you, and we'll be in touch.
of course. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Peter.